John, come on.
Hello? Hello? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for the Serie A men's game. Elyon against Kavc. It is a very hot Saturday here at NSAMBYA Sports Arena. And we are going to be watching a very entertaining game. That is Elyon against Kavc. We have Elyon appearing in the blue jersey and Kavc as usual also appearing in the red jersey over there. And on the commentary, I'm being joined by...
Well, Elyon Magawa is back. I'll be doing this with Coach Malik. This is a very difficult thriller, especially for Kavc who are fighting to be in playoffs position. And Elyon who seem to be thriving until one of their best hits attackers got a very bad injury. But they have been doing well. Both teams having come from 3-2 loss last weekend. This is going to be a redemption for one of them. And Elyon lost to Sky Volleyball Club last weekend on Saturday, a 3-2 here at NSAMBYA grounds. And Kavc also lost to relegation threatened Police 3-2 also at the Gogo Indoor Arena. So tonight we are going to have to see who has done their homework really well and try and get a win tonight.
We are having Malek Alvin stepping in as the first referee of this game, being assisted by Carol Adul. And looking at the starting lineups for Elyon, we see Dennis this time around starting ahead of Chijambu, with Ochom at Bait and Madrama being also in the starting lineup, not also forgetting the young boy that is Opoya, who has been also outstanding for the Elyon side, and Samanya as the libero who steps in. Whereas looking at the Kavc side, Kasuja, who has been playing much more of the libero position, right now he comes in as a center blocker for the Kavc side. And we see Charles, who has not yet has not yet featured for any game. He also features for the first game for Kavc.
Yeah, very unique circumstances Kavc find themselves
coming up with such a fixture where you're lacking actually the setters you've been using. Although we see Canberra also being available, but also Charles starting this game whereby he has not played any single game. It is amusing.
Yeah, very amusing, and considering how tricky Elyon is, especially.
Yeah, now we see Elyon actually starts in the lead as the young boy at Bait, who actually missed the game last weekend, and now he comes back to the Elyon side. But then that is a very good swing from Akankwasa there on the Kavc side.
Game is still a little bit low on both sides. No team showing dominance so far. All teams simply making the best of their service. No team has tried to defend so far.
Yeah, and then Opoya still coming in with a swing. That is past 2 high blocks of, by this time it was Charles and Akankwasa.
He has really stepped up his game, especially after the injury of the opposite attacker in the middle of the season. I think he has lifted this team. The best scorer on that team so far. It's him again, 5-3. Finally, Elyon showing an edge against KVC, whom we feel tonight they are going to show a little bit of lower levels, especially considering they have fewer numbers and the people playing are not really the ones that have been playing in those positions.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting, and the viewers out there, you can actually send in your predictions. Gava Elyon, I don't know what you predict the score for this game would be, but I think both teams have something to capitalize on. I feel like Elyon really needs to capitalize on the KVC side in that they are running short of numbers.
Yes, true, but about the prediction, it's really difficult for most teams, especially teams with young players when they are facing KVC.
And
KVC really knows how to bring out that experience on their side and use it to their advantage. It's not just Elyon. I wouldn't write them off just yet. I think it's going to be a difficult game for Elyon.
Well, yeah, it is going to be difficult because obviously KVC is a very, very experienced team, and they have actually guns there that can harm the Elyon side, the likes of Onapa and Ayo. They can easily actually grab a win on this Elyon side, not forgetting the experience of Endra Joel. And then Onapa coming in with a hit on the backcourt. We saw Madrama flying off to the antenna, and he couldn't actually be able to get any single touch on that ball.
Yeah, he really flew out wide, he landed off court. There's nothing the cover person could do on that. And the score doesn't lie.
From the bench, and Smith being the player preferred ahead of him. But then now we see another service error from Akankwasa there, the young man who joined the KVC, I think this season. He's been one of the consistent center players that have actually been showing up for the KVC side.
You have to give it up to them. Because this season they have used amongst the traditional teams. I think they have the youngest center players around. Because the other center player is a high school kid.
And wow, see what Madrama has done. I think that ball must have actually lost some bit of pressure, but that hit was really wonderful onto the diagonal side.
Against the block
of that was actually Ayo or Napa blocking there.
Napa there
with Kasuja.
Even still explaining to Kasuja how the ball passed.
Like I said,
really good attack.
Kasuja has been playing as a libero, and now he comes in as a center blocker. Well, it is quite a big challenge for the KVC side, but I think it is also good enough to see that KVC has players who can actually play different roles, and whenever they are called up, they can actually play there wonderfully. And that is a very, very nice service, and an ace from Ayo.
Meanwhile, 2 points away from Team KVC. If you asked anyone at the start of this game where you expected KVC to be by the middle of the first set, I don't think this is how they would have predicted it.
And now we see,
still holding on.
Yeah, we see shot number 5. That is Madrama Rogers, 21 years old. Also started his volleyball at Namugongo and still playing for the Elyon side, which is a Namugongo-based team. And there we see Onapa still killing that ball down onto the line, and the libero, that is Arthur, couldn't actually have any advantage to touch that ball.
If you had any doubts as to why Onapa started ahead of Smith this time round, now you know why. He's a man on form, giving us a glimpse of what he has always done. especially in big games. What he did for KVC last season, and very obviously you can see he's the man holding on to that team, because I have not seen them really attack that much in the middle. They are using so much of behind. Now that's a backcourt in the middle. Good reception by Ayo. Onapa again, and this time he's covered. Another chance, and he opts for a dump and scores.
Yeah, he's really going high, and this time around also the block was a little bit actually high. That is the block of Lambert up there, because he's a very, very tall player and one of the players with the highest block on the Elyon side. But good pick from Madrama, and Okoya coming in with the swing just past the block of Joel and Akankwasa there. The score's still going head to head.
Still going head to head. KVC looking more aggressive, but still points not wide apart. The dump again lands on court.
Well, still KVC trying to show that they can use their experience to actually match the Elyon side. However much the young boys actually are aggressive and talented, and they are actually limited, because it means that anytime they need a server, they cannot have it. Otherwise, they really have to wait for a double substitution.
It's beginning to catch up on them. As you can see, 13-14. People are in comment section. We can see Fix says Agava, Judah Agava says pictures are not clear. I think is that a question of the settings of the phone?
I think Judah Vigava needs to get into the settings of the stream. Perhaps you increase your pixels to and watch in the 1080, and because we see actually the picture is quite clear. But then we see Okore Brand trying to tell Jude to live like a mobile. Perhaps he's still trying to tell you that the network you're using is quite the reason as to why you're not getting that clear pic. But the picture is actually clear.
About how clear the pic is, it is about the settings of the phone. Try and change the settings on the picture quality.
But then now we see KVC is in the lead. They are leading by 3 points, just standing at 16 over 13 for Elyon.
Still really a calm game, not the heat you would expect for teams which would be really fighting for something, especially given that Elyon and KVC can still both qualify for playoffs position depending on how they play and the other opponents also play.
Yeah, there was a little bit of interruption there, but it is done, and I think it was just because of the unavailability of the ball. But this time around, we are back into action, and we see is it Onapa? Akankwasa. Akankwasa is in service. Well received by Samanya, and then Dennis goes for Madrama, who decides to go for that dump, but Onapa is actually far. He couldn't actually touch that ball.
It's really very well executed dump, the high jump, and dumped in space. Onapa was flat-footed there.
Service
Set Onapa again.
of system, but then that's a good cover. The ball is high. Ball is kept alive. It is a free ball to KVC. And again, Onapa coming in with a swing down the line. He gets it right this time around. Like you said, Onapa is disciplining these guys.
Needs to find a solution for Onapa if they want to get something out of this game. He's really the only person fighting them alone here, and he's doing it really well, both on and backwards.
And still also the young boy Opoya still showing that he also has the capacity to do what Onapa is doing. Onapa goes for the backcourt in 1, and Opoya still going for the backcourt in 3.
That's always done that really well. He's really stepped, like I said, really stepped up. And if you look at the technical bit of it, I think something needs to change on this team, especially with their priorities. See this team starting in the middle. First the main attacker is in 2.
Yeah, their defense.
Yes, and they are flying away. They are in the middle and they are not putting balls there. Something needs to change, especially about that, because the person that's hitting this team and hurting this team is Onapa.
Well, and then we see Madrama coming in with an attack error. He tried to look for the hands, but he didn't get it right. Good pick from Samanya, and Madrama coming in with a swing, but the ball is actually kept alive, and Onapa coming in with another attack error. That is a ball out. He was also trying to look for those hands, which he didn't get.
Well, 3-man block, I think he thought maybe someone could touch, especially considering how high the blocks of these boys are. Just didn't get it right. Good reception by Ayo. And finally, Endra.
Yeah, with just a one-man block of Ochom, it was just not enough to actually put the defense that Elyon needed, and Endra kills that one in the diagonal.
Really easy game for KVC so far. And Ogwang Crespo seems to agree with us. Says Malik, I see a 0-3. Says it's from Kavc-A. Good that we are able to serve people from wherever in Uganda, especially give them a chance to watch these games, which they wouldn't be able otherwise to watch from this side.
Actually, Ogwang Crespo is the one who used to be the setter of Prisons Volleyball Club, and as well as the referee for the Uganda Volleyball Federation. Big ups to you, Crespo. And I think someone had actually asked me last weekend where you were, but it is good enough to know that you're watching in from Kavc-A, and say hello to everyone who's in Kavc-A there. And now this is a defense from Ochom there. This time around, combined with Lambert, they managed to shut Indra down.
Napa is back in backcourt, but so far no problem where he's concerned, because he has been scoring from everywhere.
That's a good jump service, but the ball is out. And then we see the lead of 2 points actually still a hassle for Elyon to close it down, because from around like 12 points, that lead has kept there 2-3, 2-3 up to now. And the draw coming in with a dump, but the ball is kept alive. That's a free ball. Charles goes for Napa, who comes in with a swing, and Opoya couldn't actually block that ball down in combination with Lambert there.
That's a good try from them, but the deflection not good enough. Like the fans out there saying only 3 points to go. It's a common point there, but no, the referee telling them to go for a timeout.
Yeah, that is the first timeout for Team Elyon, and I think Joshua was really right to call this first timeout, because they have failed to defend, especially that line of position 2. We've seen Onapa actually attacking the backcourt and the ball in 2, and at one point we also saw Ayo still trying to attack on that side, and the points are actually failing to be closed down. This time around, Coach Joshua needed this time out.
Yeah, he really needed it. Team there, you know, the game is going, still looks a bit low, but the game could end because it's just 3 points away for KVC. Alex Mugoda says, thank you S-Team, we appreciate, but I request for you to take us through the results of the first games. Well, the first games was UPDF ladies against the VVC, ended in a 3-0 in favor of VVC. UPDF couldn't get anything. And the second one was Nemo Stars, still ladies against Elyon, which ended in a 3-1 in favor of Nemo Stars.
Wow, that was a very nice pick by Kasuja, but this time around, Charles netted as he tried to block Opoya there on a 50-50 ball. Yeah, surely Charles didn't stand a chance. Opoya is a short player, but then he is a high jumper, and Charles didn't manage to reach up there to actually put the challenge on him. But good service, good pick. And then Ayo coming in with a swing off the block of Lambert.
Once again, KVC simply beating these boys with experience Don't see them exploding that much apart from Monapa. But for some reason, points margin doesn't change.
Yeah, KVC is actually comfortable leading, and they are showing that they need these 3 points. And the first set they are trying to close it down, and then we see a double substitution coming in, Smith coming on for Charles, and then Kambela Crispas also coming in for Akankwasa. It is interesting to see how it is actually a double substitution where they remove a center blocker and they bring a setter and an opposite.
Well, it's very interesting because they want that block there and they want the setter to serve and set.
But this time around, the setter was covering position 5.
I think he's not been training because see they are trusting Endra to set that ball instead of the setter has been there before. And
we see the timeout actually couldn't be given.
He's back, the setter is back.
Let's say, yeah, that's a substitution. And
except Crispa stays on for that reception.
Well, interesting how KVC actually always finds option for its solutions, for its problems on the court. But then Ayo coming in with a swing, Dennis goes for 50-50 ball, but there is netting by Dennis. Kasuja manages to also win the challenge of the 50-50 there for the ball that is actually around the belt there. And it is the first set point for Team KAVC. Charles is in service. Service, good pick by Opoya, and Atubait goes with for the dump. Well picked by Ayo there, and then Onapa comes to seal it down. And that brings us to the end of the first set at 25-21 in favor of the KAVC team.
Well, if there was anyone who was worried that we have a libero in the middle for KVC and no libero on court at all, maybe this is time for you to stop doubting and trust in what the coaches at KVC decided to do today. Just 8 players, no problem for Team KVC so far. Still bossing the game here at NSAMBYA.
And I think also both teams have started on a low note.
Yeah,
and
really
it looks like KVC is really trying to bore these boys.
Yeah,
they are trying to play a slow game because when they get them charged, they might actually give them the advantage because the Elyon side, it is a team that likes going a little bit more aggressive.
Situation that warranted the coach to call for a timeout, but it was still a 3-point gap that ended up being 4 points at the end of the day.
And looking at the stats over there, we see that Elyon had 9 attacks and KVC had 14 attacks. That is wave 5 above the Elyon side. And then the Elyon with 3 blocks. Yeah, Onapa had quite a number of them. And but the blocks, we see Elyon had actually better defense there on the blocking side with 3 blocks and 1 for KVC. And then KVC had 2 service aces, which is very, very good because we don't usually see these aces in the games. But we are back for set number 2.
Well, set number 2, I'm sure the coach will try and do something different, especially on the Elyon side. And if you realize it is Lambert makes way for another center player. Comes on to replace Lambert, but for KVC, nothing has changed. Madrama tried that attack, but it went out wide. And it's now Ayo on service. Good reception by Opoya. Nice set. But Dennis couldn't make it through. It's now 2-0 in favor of KVC.
Yeah, that was Atubait being shut down by one man Endra.
It's called Atubait?
Yeah, Atubait, just number 8. Yeah, Dennis is the setter. Then still Dennis goes for Madrama, and that is a very, very good block from Kasuja. They are combined with Onapa.
He's been doing really, really well for someone who has been playing as a libero for a very long time for KVC.
Yeah, you're actually very right, but Kasuja he has actually been an all-round player whereby every position you try to call him up to, he's actually doing it. And that is the first attack by Ochom. I think I've seen him attack for the very first time. In the opposite side, that is the opposite of Elyon, just number 9, 17 years old.
Yeah, he has not been given the ball that much. But he always comes up once in a while and does that good attack by Endra. Ball goes so wide off the libero, he couldn't get it. KVC starts this really, really well. And before that third service, there was an attempt by the coach to bring in a new setter, but I think he just changed the young boy there, number 11 from Elyon side.
And that is the first service error from Kasuja there, as he tried to go with a very, very hard service that was with a lot of pace, but this time around he puts it down onto the net. Then we see Madrama coming in with a serve, but also taking that ball outside. And KVC still comfortably leading with 6 points against 1.
They have 2 points.
Because he is underutilized, but I think he's one of the players that has showed potential. With his height, with his age, he is someone who is having a good future ahead.
Yeah, the future is bright for him, but I think the setters have not yet started trusting him, especially considering how the previous opposite was playing.
Yeah, it is their big shoes to fill. But then we see also Endra also coming in with a service onto the net. The second service error for the KVC team. Good pass, Charles goes in for Ayo, and that ball just off the libero's hands. That is Arthur. This time around, I have a feeling like the Elyon team is so much down. I don't know, but they are a little bit so much down. Yes, the KVC team is also a bit down, but they are actually scoring. In their easy play, they are getting the points, and Elyon is not.
They are scoring the easy way. It's really difficult for Team Elyon. You can see the balls are going off wide.
And that is their senior player or their host at the moment, Opoya, trying to go past the hands of Charles, but then he attacks that ball outside. And KVC comfortably leading with 4 points now. Service, then scores for Opoya. He goes up above the block of Charles, but then Akankwasa there couldn't actually get the dig to maintain that ball in the air. And then Elyon manages to actually get a breather and pass the rotation. They have been struggling. Then Ayo coming in with a swing down the line, but the ball is kept alive, and it is a free ball for Elyon side. And then Dennis going for Madrama, but that ball goes through past the block of Ayo there.
Madrama has really stepped up his game so far. You can see he's no longer that player who's dumping the ball. He's really attacking that ball hard in the blocks.
Yeah, he's
so good for Team Elyon.
Yeah, he's going high. He's putting the energy. I think the errors in this particular fixture have been less compared to other fixtures. And then now we see Ayo coming in with a hit outside just onto the line, and now Elyon leveling up the points at 9-9. Good service, and that is an ace. That is an ace, the first ace for the Elyon side, as actually Endra and Ayo actually couldn't pick that ball. It seemed easy, but it is actually hard when you're out there on the court. Good pick from Ayo. Charles trying to a jump set, but then the ball was crossing and Madrama blocks that ball down.
From 5 points against 9 for Team KVC, it's now 11 points for Elyon and still 9 for Team KVC.
And that is the first time out for the KVC side. I
That
think they
means
really needed it.
they have made 5 points in a row, Team Elyon, and they really needed this time out because that's not a good trend. A ratio of 5-1 is not a good ratio for a team that is playing volleyball, and they are going to look, that would mean about 25 to 6 or 7 points.
Well, it happens a lot. A
Yeah.
team actually can lead
to
even 10 points, but you manage to narrow up the gap down to like 2 or 1, or even win the game or the set. So in our sport, it is actually very possible.
Very possible, but the trend is a bad one. Very necessary for a timeout. Let's see what they have learned from there. Good service there.
Well picked by Endra, and then Onapa coming in with an attempted dump, but well read and picked. And then Madrama coming in with a swing, and Akankwasa there. He tried to get a dig on the defense, but he didn't manage to get it.
Elyon beginning to give KVC a taste of the challenge they came when they expected when they came here. They're giving them all the challenges and daring them to use the bench, which they didn't come with tonight. So it's a very difficult time for Team KVC, especially given how small the bench is. A very difficult time for them. 2 timeouts already exploited by Team KVC. We are on 12, actually 13 points at the moment, I think. Ball covered by Team Elyon, and Madrama attempts a dump. Well picked. Onapa dumps again. Ball picked. And Madrama attacks it, but this time it ends up in the net. To the frustration of everyone who is on court and on the bench, including the coach. But it's a breather for Team KVC. The gap narrowed down. It's now service for AO. Serves an S. It's now 11-12. 11-12. It doesn't land on court. It's now 13 points for Team KVC and only 12 for Team Elyon. KVC has also made now 4 points in a row. And good service, good reception. And finally, Elyon breakaway. It's now 13-13. Both teams on level. Tensions beginning to rise. This is what we expected when we came here tonight to watch this match. Reception. And Kasuja finally receives that ball with great enthusiasm and scores, giving a chance to Dennis to come on and do something in the middle too.
Yeah, interesting to see how Kasuja is actually stepping up in his game. And I'm still surprised for the time he has not been playing as an attacker. And then he comes in as a center player or a center blocker. But then there we see a very, very good dump from Madrama as 2 blockers were actually coming to kill him down, but he managed to go for that dump, which was very, very wise because otherwise it looked like he was going to be shut down. Struggling reception, and then Endra coming in with a swing, but that is way out.
Very wide off the line. Elyon trying to regain the gap that they had in the past.
And
The
we see
substitution for Team Elyon
is reversed.
Koya comes back after a moment of rest.
And he hasn't actually played his game we are used to.
Yeah, it was necessary for him to first be out and reflect on the way he's playing, especially with Madrama stepping up his game.
Onapa coming in the swing just above that block of Atubaita and Opoya.
Yeah,
Well, the
really,
cover also didn't bias towards the shortest blockers.
really
And
a high jumper.
actually Elyon stood no chance, and the blockers stood no chance to actually stop that ball, because Onapa really went so high and placed that ball down onto to the position 6.
Then Anne Laloyo says, but the commentator who keeps saying tonight in this very hot Kasana. Well, tonight is tonight, it doesn't mean night. It can be used at any time.
Well, I think the commentator is already preparing for tonight, or maybe he's still in the tonight, or since yesterday was Valentine's.
Tonight is tonight, it means any time of the day.
Yeah, because you actually, I conquer with you, and Laloyo, because it is not tonight. It is very, very hot and shiny, but Elyon is still in tonight mode.
We can feel it from here too, but hopefully the tension will increase, especially with Elyon stepping up and also KVC beginning to attack more. You will feel also the heat on the court.
Good service from Endra, not the best pick from Arthur, but then the young boy Ochom goes past the block of Arthur and Ayo.
Tried to pick that one, but it stayed in the hands for long. It has been adjudged to be a carry by referee Calvin Mane. It's now 17-17.
Yeah, the points are actually leveled up, and we see KVC side still doing well, because they managed to break down the scores whereby they were chasing. And then Ayo coming in the swing into the long corner of the court, and he manages to get that right. I think with Dennis blocking him, this is the time when actually Ayo needs to capitalize on such a block.
Yeah, it's really, because he's not that much of a tall blocker, especially with Lambert going out. But also you can see he's not really attacking that ball hard, but he's attacking it wide off the cover positions. He's really using the brain here, and it's working very well for them.
Then Opoya coming into the swing, very good defense from Onapa there, and it is a free ball. Dennis still goes for Opoya, who goes past the blocks of Charles and Kasuja there. And also Opoya, since he's also a high jumper, yeah, this is what he needs to do to also capitalize on the block of Charles.
Yeah.
I think the two teams need to, they are actually still trying to play the same way. Look at where the shortest block is. At this point in time, the two setters actually are the weakest blockers, and
really
the setters are
maximizing on
capitalizing
these
it.
things. Yeah.
And Madrama puts that ball out with a very, very big error. That is miscommunication from Arthur Delibello and Madrama, who didn't know who exactly should take the last ball over to the other court side, and that takes us to the very first timeout for the Elyon side at 19-18.
A mistake that could prove very costly, especially in these dying points. And the coach saw it right to call for a timeout.
Winnie Kobusinje says, let's go KAVC. Yeah, KAVC fans are still trying to rally behind their KAVC team. And they are actually not disappointing. Looking at the numbers they came with today and the squad they came with the soldiers who are just 8 in number, but still trying to actually finish up the job.
Yeah, it is the energy they need, especially considering the fight for top 4. A team that has been in playoffs for the last 2 consecutive seasons. This time it looks very difficult, especially with the UCU and KCC a little bit ahead of KVC for those points, and they are really doing well, those teams. So it's a very, very necessary fight the teams need to put up, especially if they want to go for playoffs this season.
Yeah, I think I concur with you on that, Agawa. But all these teams actually...
We are actually rallying behind our mighty club. Well, that's the spirit. They are not trying, they are really doing it. 19 points up for both teams. And
Good pick, free ball, and Ra picks that right. And Ayo coming in with a very, very quick swing. And Madrama still had no chance to stop him. The ball was a little bit of a short set. And Ayo, I think he sneaked that past the block of Madrama with a very, very quick arm swing. That was brilliant play.
Yeah, very brilliant play from Team Kavc. Keeping it calm but still making those points.
Drama coming in with an off spin, but well defended, and Onapa coming in with an off spin off the blockers of Madrama and Atbait, and still KFC comfortably leading set number 2 as they stand at advantage over the Elyon side.
He knows really knows well how to when to step up. Onapa putting that gap so far, and wow.
There was a substitution, and the substitution seems like that is actually what Elyon needed, as we see Peterson, who was introduced on to replace the captain, who's the setter Dennis, and immediately he sets that ball in the middle, which we had not actually seen from Dennis there.
Yeah, Dennis was very much of an outside setter, and this was a substitution that the coach attempted at the point of 3. But decided against it when they broke off. But
Napa coming in with the swing, but then the block this time around shuts him down. That is Madrama combining with Atubait. And this time around, I think Elyon has the best defense on the front side. And KVC needs to think
for some time. But he's let down by his service. It's now 22-22.
Yeah, the second service error in this particular set, and this is a service they did not actually wish to lose, or they did actually have to lose, and I hope they do not regret this after. And then Akankwasa also coming in with a very quick dump through the middle, as the Charles also attempted to actually play through the middle too.
Yeah,
we've seen the two sides not having so many plays in the middle.
Yeah, you could have thought the Rebel ought to have done a little bit better. They are considering it was not really that hard, but it really landed, and it's now 23-22. A jump service by Onapa, picked not really well, but Elyon have a chance, and the attacker.
Well, actually the blockers netted. That is Carol saying the blockers. That is Indra and Akankwasa this time around. They netted as they tried to block the ball.
And, there was an attempt by the coach to bring in a tall blocker, but it didn't really work.
And
lock that down, 24-23. Set point by Team Elyon. The substitution is on. The short middle player is out. That is the
things that KVC didn't have to lose. Kasuja should have just gone with a much safer service, because they were a point ahead and they were defending well. But that service error, it is one of the things that actually gave Elyon the advantage to level the points up and send actually their setter into service. And finally, they managed to win the set and level the sets 1-1.
Very bad for Team Kavc, especially considering they had some points away during the mid of the game, and very difficult for them, especially considering that they don't have that many options on the bench. It's going to be a difficult one for them, especially if this game keeps stretching the way it is.
And looking at the stats, Elyon there, we see the attacks are actually too close, as Elyon had just 11 attacks and KFC had 12, just one ahead of the Elyon side, with Elyon still with one block better. They had 3 blocks in set 1 and still they have 3 blocks in set 2, and with just 2 blocks, which is an improvement from the KFC side. And each side with coming in with 1-1 serve aces. And also the opponent's errors, we see KVC making 2 more errors more than the Elyon side, and perhaps that is one of the reasons why Elyon managed to win the second set and level up the sets at 1-1. But keep tuned in as we get back for set number 3.
We are not competing. You are right.
And we are back for set number 3, and Elyon still comfortably leading this particular set. As we see, it is the very first time Elyon has decided to, or they have managed to go ahead of the KVC side. But then we see Dennis still coming back as the first setter ahead of Peterson, who actually came in and managed to get the set for Elyon side. And then what a swing from Ochom there, the Elyon opposite, 17 years of age, shot number 9, that is Ojaze number 9, one of the tallest boys on the Elyon. Good catch, that's a good block, but then the defense was better. And this time around, Ayo tries to place that ball to position 1, but puts that ball out. And we see the substitution coming in. That is Crispus coming on for Charles, while Elyon is actually leading at 5 points to 0. Let's see if Crispus can actually change the mix and perhaps give the KVC the play they need to. Very high set, lifted dump, well picked, and then it's going for Madrama coming in from that touch of Ayo. But then Onapa coming in with a swing, but he attacks that ball out. He tries to look for the hands of the 3-man block that was brought to him. That was Ochom, Atbait and Madrama, but he didn't actually manage to get that touch. And we see another substitution immediately coming in for the KVC side. Smith coming on for Onapa. Crispus going for backward, well picked. And then Ochom coming in with a swing, but that is a very, very nice block from Kasuja there. He shuts Ochom down. He read him that he was actually trying to go into the diagonal, and he manages to get that block, and there was no one to cover Ochom back up, and the ball landed just behind in position 6. Well, it is a breather that KVC wanted this time around. Good service from Ayo, and then S going for Madrama, who gets off the hands of Joel there. Madrama or Rogers, this time for this game, he has actually shown a little bit of consistency, which we had not seen for quite a number of games. But the consistency has shown in this game, it is very, very good, and perhaps it is one of the reasons the Elyon team is playing a little bit better in this set. Good pick from Ayo. Crispus going for Smith. He attacks that ball, but it is out. He went down the line, but the ball goes out. Look at the score. Elyon leading with 7 points. Points standing at 8-1. Good service from Madrama. Crispus going for Endra, who attempts to dump the ball, but again, he puts that ball out. So many errors from the KVC side. Well, and that leads us to the first time out for the KVC team for set number 3 as the scores stand at 9-1.
Well. A good start for Team Elyon. We all knew it was going to be a challenge for Team KVC, but we expected KVC to do much better on this. But so far, not so good on the side of KVC. Ogwang Crespo has already withdrawn his statement in pitch.
Yeah, he had predicted a 3-0.
I'm also following him in this one because it's not just the Kasana which is hot here. Even Elyon is really hot, and KVC is feeding them. They have shown in the past they can do this, but it's a very difficult time for them. 10-2, chasing 8 points.
And another service by
Kasuja
Kasuja.
serves this one out, making it again a 9 points gap for Team Elyon. Really difficult time for Team KVC here.
Yeah, at Bait going into service. Good service, but then that is a very poor service that goes down onto the net. This is the time when Elyon actually needs to minimize their errors, because they already have advantage that they are leading with just around 8 points, but they are still making errors, which is a very bad characteristic. Then Ocham coming in with a swing, but the defense is better from Ayo, and then it is a free ball. Not the best picked, but then it is another free ball for the KVC side. Can they use it? And then Akankwasa just comes in with a very easy swing.
Ribeiro caught off position. You can see he really expected the ball to go out wide, and it stopped in the middle. Couldn't get that one really.
Yeah, that was actually a very good free ball that was given by the KVC side. They made sure that, I think it was Endra, he made sure that Ochom couldn't pick that ball rightly and perhaps take the offense of Elyon off. But good defense from Ayo, and that is a dump from Crispus there. As we see, the Ribeiro Samanya couldn't actually pick that ball right. He was standing. It was an easy ball to him, but he decided to use one arm that didn't work.
2 errors for him, leading to points for Team KVC.
That is the disappointment he shows.
Yeah, needs to step up his game, especially considering the way the team is replaying.
Wow.
Koya, who has been a little bit down at the start of the game, beginning to show glimpses of what we expected.
Yeah, he has been silent.
Came from down, but still couldn't get that ball.
Yeah, Opoya and Dennis, we see he's still trying to capitalize on the shot blocks of the KVC setters. But then that is a very good rebound from Akankwasa there. He is actually scoring so many points in his easy play, but he is actually trying to get that score that the KVC needs. Dennis still, the Elyon setter, still showing us that he is not a setter who prefers to play through the middle. As we see, most sets are out.
Most of the balls are really outside, but so far so good. He hasn't been disappointed.
And Onapa coming in with a dump, but then that was a net fault. That was actually called on the Elyon side.
Except right now it is simply only 5 points gap.
Then Opoya coming in with a swing, but this time around he goes past the 3-man block of Akankwasa and Crispus and Ayo. They had come to shut him down, but luckily enough, with his energy, he goes past the 3-man block. And Opoya serving, 17 years of age, shot number 10. Crispus going in from Ayo. Dump, but then good defense from the Elyon side. Free ball for KVC, and the ball is on court, but then the referee says that they are 4 touches. Well, 4 touches. I thought the call was for the ball passing out.
No, 4 touches from the team.
Well, I didn't understand that call, but let's go on. For the referee says that they were.
Dennis is on for service. Good reception by the...
That is a Kankwasa. Yeah, Kankwasa in for service. But this time around, Dennis plays a pipe through the middle for Opoya. Onapa coming in with a swing off the blocks of Madrama and Atbait. Well, he is actually still scoring with ease, not going so hard, but getting onto the hands of the blockers of Elyon.
Napa doing what he has been doing since the start of the first set, hurting Elyon a little bit. The gap has been reduced to 5, but not really good for Team Kavc, especially if they want 3 points tonight. Looking good for Team Elyon. Good reception by Madrama.
Struggling, but Dennis does better, and this time around the young man Ochom coming in with a swing right on the backcourt. And like I told you at first, this is a young boy who is I feel is being underutilized, because he can actually do much more for this Elyon side than they expect of him.
Really big shoes to fill, but he's doing well so far. Back set for Ayo, and blocked down by Madrama. Very bad set there from the center.
Yeah, the Crispus tries to force that ball to position 2, but then the ball was very tight and too close to the net, as Ayo attempted to pass that ball, but then Madrama had the ball covered.
Good one again, another set. Ball covered, default ball from the libero, and Ochom attacks it very close to one. They are deep in one. Can't be picked, and it has to be a timeout for Team KVC. A very necessary one. No,
it is actually, in fact, a substitution that is reversed. Charles gets back on as Crispus gets back out. But it is wonderful to see how the young man Ochom is getting past the block of Onapa there. Yes, he is a tall player. He is using the advantage of his height, but again he's going high past that block. But this time around, Onapa says, "No, I will shut you down."
No way through for him this time.
Yeah, and I think as we go on, this is what Onapa needs to provide for his team.
Yeah, more than just the attack, he needs to provide the block, especially with the way these boys are flying high and attacking that ball deep. So hard for the cover. The block needs to do better this time. Good reception by Opoya.
And again, an attack through the middle by Atbait.
Dennis finally attempts the ball in the middle, and it works for him. Very difficult for Kasuja there.
He went up lane.
5, and the ball went in 1.
Then Madrama going into service. Service good pick from Ayo, and Charles goes for Onapa, but what a block from the Elyon side. That is Atbait combining with Opoya there. They shut down Onapa. Wow, these young boys of Elyon, they really go high up.
They go high up, they don't fly. You can see from Opoya, he gave Atbait where to stop.
Kasuja coming in with a swing, but good defense from Dennis, and it is a free ball for KVC. And again Kasuja coming in with a swing, and this time around he manages to get that point.
The libero was there, but it wasn't really easy for him, and the gap is so big again, 8 points away. Very difficult for them. Good set by Dennis, and Ochom making all the difference that counts here. Finds Endra's block alone and chops it off. Just now 20 points for Team Elyon, 11 for KVC. Good service there, good pick by Ayo. An attempt for a ball in the middle is blocked. Endra attacks it first time. Default ball for Ochom. Attempts a dump. Good one. Onapa attacks, but is covered. A chance for KVC again. And this time, the dump is really covered well. Netting by Team KVC. 10 points gap. 10 points gap. No one could have really expected this one. It's really difficult. Shores just brings in a laughing emoji. Please don't laugh. This is a very difficult game. Default ball again. And Okoya attacks it, but it goes out. It's now 12 for Team KVC and 21 for Team Elyon. The young boys really bossing the third set here. Good reception by Okoya. And Ochom attacks but is blocked. Not down. Ochom makes it count.
Well, Opoya this time around, he shows up for set number 3 with aggressiveness and trying to provide with Elyon what they really need. But previously we saw a very good block from Endra Joel as he manages to get Ochom down. But then the defense wasn't actually enough and effective as Opoya came in to kill the ball down. And it is still an easy swing from Makankwasa. Like I was saying, he's actually making so many points. He is not going aggressive. They need to get more defenses. And then a service error from Endra there.
Yeah, it's really a bad set for them. Everything seems not to be working. And Ekon Bender says, but KVC. Anji Umar says, okay.
Wow.
The world is hard indeed. You can hear the noise from out there. Very well executed ball in the middle, backcourt in the middle by Opoya. The attack goes really hard on Kasuja there, who was covering 5. That is the excitement you hear from the fans. And there indeed, the world is hard for KVC right now.
And it is a set point for the Elyon side. And then Charles goes for Ayo, who hits that ball on the belt. And that takes us to the end of the third set at 25-14 in favor of the Elyon team.
Okay. 2-1 in favor of Team Elyon. KVC back to the drawing board, now fighting for a maximum of 2 points. But they have to first win this set.
Yeah,
I have to think about that.
I might say right now they are looking for the first point of the game because the Elyon side already they have 1 point in the pocket. And they are looking to actually get their remaining 2 points, and KFC will be looking at actually sending the game into the decisive because they need to gain maximum points if they are to keep in the positions of being able to make it for playoffs. But looking at the stats over there, we see 13 attacks from the Elyon side, so many of them, and just 5 attacks for the KVC team. This really shows you why they struggled in this set. And with 3 blocks for both teams, which is quite good and balanced. But then also 9 errors from the KVC side against the 6 errors from the Elyon side. I think the difference came in this time around with KVC failing to defend and actually also siding out because 13 attacks from the Elyon side. There are so many, and with just 5 attacks for the KVC team, literally they stood no chance of winning this set. But we'll Okay, and we are back for set number 4. The scores still leveling up at 1-1. Kasuja serving, but still having the service errors. The third service error for this particular game. Not good for him at the KVC side. And Elyon, still we actually see no changes made by the Elyon side. And actually no changes as that Crispus attempts to give on upper, but then that ball goes out.
Really a decisive set for both teams. Could decide a lot what everyone takes home tonight, depending on the result in this set. And KFC knows that, Onapa knows that, and you can see from the way he's executing these balls this time. No touch from the block, no touch from the defense. Ball lands on court, it's 2-3 with KFC chasing a point from Elyon.
Good service from Onapa, a drama, not a good pick, but the Chom coming in with a swing, very good defense, and then a pipe coming in from Ayoba, not the best. Chom coming in with a swing, 50-50 ball. This time around, the struggle between Crispus and Opoya is actually won by Opoya, as the ball was 50-50, but Crispus netted this time around. Bait serving, good pick, and then Endra coming in with the swing, but that ball is actually put down onto the net. It is an attempted attack, but then the net goes onto the net, and KVC still actually trying to struggle through on offense. It is one of the things they struggled and made them lose the third set, and this time around it is something they need to work on to be able to actually side out quickly. But then the reception is also now in a struggle, as we see Kasuja receives that ball tight, and Crispus couldn't keep that ball in play. And now we see Kasuja being actually hidden by Onapa. And then it is a free ball for Elyon. Very tight set. It is a free ball back to KVC. And then Akankwasa being shut down this time around.
Yeah, you can see from the way the team is playing, you can see Elyon has really stepped up their game, especially when it comes to the block in that middle and the attack outside. KVC really struggling, but with few options outside, with only 2 substitutes. Good set by Dennis there. And the dump lands right on the feet of Endra, who is going to be feeling really not good. And the coach sees it fit to call a timeout for the team. It's now 8 points for Elyon, 2 points for KVC. The young boys in the driving seat indeed. And
as well, I can still remind you that we have a very entertaining fixture that is still coming up. That will be Sky against Prisons. I saw some post somewhere that the battle against the it is a relegation battle.
A relegation battle.
It is an interesting match because these are two teams that are actually following each other, and they are standing at position number 9 and 10. And whoever actually wins this, they stand chance of being staying in the Serie side, and that is why it will be an entertaining fixture as we finish this game. Please stay tuned in as we wait for another thriller of Prisons against Sky.
Very difficult fixture, of course, especially considering it could also affect Police, the result in this. So it's going to be a game that's going to be watched by a lot of teams and very difficult emotions. And Endra pulls one back for Team KVC. Good attack, deep in 5, couldn't be picked by the center player there. It's now 3 points for Team KVC. And good service by Endra.
And that is an ace.
2 points for him so far.
Yeah, whenever Endra gets into service, I think this is the time, not only Endra, for example, Endra and Ayo, they have been actually consistent servers for the KVC side. Whenever they get into service, they are the people they need to maintain into service there. But good fight, free ball picked by Opoya, and Dennis
Back
going for
goal.
Ochom.
But Ochom
He
that-
kills that ball down, just past the block of Ayo and Akankwasa there. Two high blockers, but he's also a very high jumper and a tall player who goes past that block.
And he's pinning that ball right in one there, deep in one. Shows you how very confident he's attacking that ball there. Very good attack from him. If there is any player who has stepped up in this game, it is him. And Elyon beginning to look like a very serious contender for playoffs again.
Will this fixture send them into playoffs? I think Elyon is a little bit still far compared to the other teams who are actually competing for the playoffs. I think KVC is actually
quite closer, but with 3 points for Elyon, if they are able to get them tonight, to put them in a very good position to do something. The table is still wide open, and a very good attack here for Team Elyon. Opoya attacks that ball too deep in 5. Atkwasa failed to pick that one up. Malik is going to give you where this fixture puts Elyon in case they pick 3 points tonight.
Well, this fixture actually sends Elyon ahead of KVC team.
Yeah,
with just 1 point, because they stand at 17 points and KVC stands at 19 points. And it means that Elyon will actually be going into the 5th position and with the right 4 points behind UCU.
Yeah, that's
who is in the 4th position.
Not very wide, just 2 games there. Very difficult one, but very possible.
I
both
think
of them
it is difficult because the current form of UCU and KCCA, and it has been actually very good in that they are showing that they need the playoffs much more, and the Elyon side will actually need to actually put in extra efforts to be able to make it for playoffs. But I think KVC is actually standing in a better position. But if they lose this game, it is something that will bring worries to them.
Yeah, it's very difficult for them, and for KVC it's more difficult because they needed this win to put themselves in a very good position for playoffs.
They need it. It has not yet ended.
Yeah, I mean 3-0. I mean 3 points. Points is good, but they needed 3 points really.
Yeah,
to cover that gap that is there.
Any point you get matters. So right now they still have to first get the first point, but they will need to fight for more points there.
So far, so good for Team KVC, who has managed to reduce that gap, especially from about 8 points now 3. They are coming back from behind.
Poya coming in with a swing, but that is a block out. It was a very good joiner from Endra there and a good attempt, good effort, but then the block is outside. And then Dennis is going into service at the right time when Elyon has their tallest block front court, but this time around he loses the service. What a waste of the block there.
Yeah, a waste of that block. 9 points and 12 for Team Elyon. Only 3 away. Very good for KVC considering the gap that has been there.
Yeah, it was a very good chase, and it is a good chase that they are showing up. They are trying to narrow the gap down, and they are perfectly doing that, and this is something they need to do more. If they are there, we see Charles actually came on for Christmas, and KVC is still trying to actually find their options and use their options they have on the bench to get solutions to why they are actually failing to side out. Another good service, not the best pick again from Ayo, but it is a free ball. And then Ochom coming in with an attack. He attacks that ball down onto the line, but seems like he lands poorly. Hopefully, yeah, we hope he is actually okay, but yeah, that is a muscle cramp like in the calf there. That this is something actually not very much to worry about, since these things happen a lot in players, but they affect the players' jump. And I think the next rounds of rotations he might have on the net. He might not be able to jump as high as he needs, because the calf is very, very vital on the jumping, because you need to pump that energy right from the calves to be able to go much high. And Beck Nicholas is actually saying that Elyon has a very good experience on dealing with the experienced Kavc. Well, I think, yeah, you might be right or not right, but yes, it has shown that Elyon has managed to get advantage in most times they've actually had this fixture against Kavc, especially in this season. But Kavc, I feel like they have the experience to actually match on the Elyon side in this particular fixture. But with the teams that showed up today, Kavc is really lacking options, trying to find solution for the gaps they are missing, because they are missing the middle play there. We see the left-handed boy who is actually missing out today, the one who actually studies at Standard High School, Zana. I think he's actually being held up by the elite games that are actually being played by schools down there at St. Joseph's of Nazareth. That is on Masaka Road. That is the schools championship for the elite schools. Perhaps that is the reason why he is missing out today. But then we see treatment or first aid being given to Ochom to be able to catch up again in the play. Muscle pulls, this is something you cannot rush for, and it is something that needs a little bit of time, because it is really hurting and it's straining. But let's see how it all goes. At the point whereby he looked like he was enjoying the play, and it is the point where he comes out, and Coach Joshua this time around, he will be forced to look at options he has on the bench, whereby his options are also limited, but he needs to find on who replaces him, because he has been doing well. They stand at advantage with 6 points ahead, but the muscle cramp is actually a disadvantage to Coach Joshua. And this time around, let's see who he goes for. Now, just the number 11, that is Jesse, will be introduced on to replace Ochom. Well, still the play being put at hold, as we see the Elyon side trying to fix their rotation so that they are not in position to give out free points because of position fouls and rotation fouls. And the play resumes. Madrama still in service. Very good service. Then it turns out to be bad. He serves that ball down onto the net. As Onapa is also getting into service for Kavc side. Will he go for the jump service or jump float? He decides to go for the jump float, but it is a very good pass. And Opoya coming in with a swing, and he hits that ball just slightly above the block of Joel. Ayo couldn't actually cover up Joel's shorter block, because Kankwasa was actually the higher blocker. This time around, he needed to bias towards the side of Endra. And still Akankwasa coming in with attack through the middle. This time around he gets it right, and he has been consistently scoring. But the pass that KVC is having, or the first reception, which is not a little bit stable, is one of the things that is actually putting them behind to play through the middle. Very good service from Endra, and Opoya coming into the swing. There is a good touch from the blockers, and it is an off-system play for the KVC side. But still Opoya coming into the swing, but this time around he hits outside. He was looking for the touch, which he didn't get, and KVC still trying to close up the gap. As there we see Onapa trying to talk to Endra where to bias to, because there is a shot blocker of Charles and the front court, so he's trying to tell them to bias towards the Charles's block there.
And
yeah, that
well,
is Charles.
very difficult for Team KVC right now.
That is Charles, who was introduced on earlier on to replace Lambert. Then it's a good cover. Opoya coming in with a swing, and he gets over the blocks of Charles there. We see Charles is not actually satisfied with the referee, trying to perhaps say that there was a little bit of fall on the Elyon side. Maybe on the cover, maybe it should have been like a carry. But then we see the KVC captain trying to talk to the referee how they are not satisfied the play.
And Abdul Hadi is asking you to compare for him this season and the past season in terms of the struggle for playoffs among his teams. Good attack by Opoya there. 20 points Team Elyon, only 12 for Team KVC, an 8 points gap. Elyon only need 5 in order to steal 3 points tonight.
And Onapa this time around getting off the hands of Madrama there. Madrama was a little bit too late to seal up that line, and Onapa capitalizes on that. I think the struggle for playoffs this time around is really tight because last season most of the teams were a little bit more sure where they. But this time around we see so many teams are still in the bracket of playoffs, rather than seeing Nemo and Spotters who are a little bit confident that they've already made it for playoffs. But UCU, KCCA, KVC, Elyon, they are still all in the mix to make it for playoffs, and perhaps one of them will drop and the other makes it over there.
Yeah, I think last season was more of a fight between Spotters and Nemo for #1 spot, but in terms of other teams behind, it was really obvious. This season we still have KVC mixing in, UCU in the mix. We have KCCA and Elyon now, especially with the win against KVC tonight. If they are able to get 3 points, it's going to be also a mixture of also about 6 teams vying for remaining 2 positions. The man who has made all the difference tonight in the defense department for Team Elyon. Good attack by Madrama, but it goes wide. 15 points for Team KVC. 6 points now.
Well, there is a battle that we shall not enter through. But perhaps Laloyo and Opek, at least both of them have been in the KVC side. But we shall not enter that battle. Well,
Nicholas and Laloyo.
But we shall focus more on the game, and then we see KVC still trying to narrow up the points, but then the Elyon side still trying to make sure that they close this game with 3 points.
The young boys bossing it around. Frustration visible on the faces of the experienced members in KVC. But Onapa here telling the teammates to go on and asking for that ball. It's given to him and he dumps it really very well.
Yeah, that is a very wise play. Yeah, he knew when he had to go with just a small spin or a dump over the block, and he got it right this time around.
17-22. KVC has done it to Nemo before, especially on the playoffs last season. They can do this, they know. But with Elyon, let them. Madrama attacks this.
Coming in with a swing, but then the block of Kavc-A.
Yes. The coach asking questions here, thinking about what to say, and he hopes for a timeout.
I think this is the right call. He really needed this because his team was comfortably leading, but they seem like they are losing focus, or they are getting much more on pressure, or the pressure is getting underway, and he decides to get that timeout to calm his team down and perhaps find a solution on how they can break through and try to reach to the game point. But let's see. After his timeout, was the timeout effective? We need to wait and see how effective it will be. That is Coach Joshua over there, also appearing as the vice chairperson for the schools commission. On the commissions we have for the Uganda Volleyball Federation, that is the schools commission. He appears as the vice for Nepom Hamoud. And then this time around we see the timeout was actually effective as Madrama came back knowing that he really needed to make the point for say Onapa getting into service. Charles still trying to see where he can defend most. And he decides to go side of Opoya. See the Opoya coming in with a swing, but what a defense from Kasuja, though it is not enough, and it is the game point for Elyon side, or the match point. At Bait going into service.
Can hear the excitement from the Elyon fans. Good reception by Kasuja. And then Ra dumps that one, but he's picked. Boya brings it off. Good attack in the middle, covered. A free ball again. And leaves it to land outside. Good judgment by Onapa there. And Ra, who has been serving really well so far, is there to make it happen for Team KVC with only 2 points being chased. But for Elyon, it's a chance to score within those 2 points in order to take this game.
Well, Joshua doesn't actually allow Endra to serve any single time immediately after the side out. But will he actually make magic for the KVC side to be able to grab the set up and also send the match to the decisive? Well, we see he really needs to do something that is extraordinary. Or KVC needs to do something extraordinary to be able to send the game into the decisive. But we see on the defense of the KVC side, they have one shot blocker, that is Charles. And will Elyon capitalize on that? We don't know. Opoya coming into the swing, and that is an attack fault.
Ball goes out wide. 23-24.
They are sending actually 2 high blocks to Opoya, and you see actually the opposite is staying with no block. But still the setter goes there and the man kills it down.
2 blocks, no problem for Opoya. Finally, it's a 3-1. A loss for Team KVC, putting a very big spear in the hearts of those who are enthusiastic about the playoffs hopes for KVC. But everything is still possible at the moment, except it gets a little bit harder for them.
Yeah, KVC today, the numbers were actually of a disadvantage to them, and they really tried to chase the game and keep their game in play, but the numbers weren't enough to give them options. and also Elyon capitalizes on this. They decide to go home with the 3 points.
3 points. The pressure increases on all sides, but hopes for playoffs for Elyon very increased now, especially with this win. We just have to wait and see how everything unfolds in the next matches.
Well, looking at the stats for this particular set, 16 attacks for the Elyon. Some teams at the start of the game looked a little bit down, but the teams gained momentum, and we saw some good defenses and good side outs this time around. But Elyon also managed to grab the 3 points of the day. And now we are going into another thriller, that is Prisons Uganda against Sky Volleyball Club, as someone mentioned that it is battle for relegation. These are 3 points that will actually be needed by the two teams, because it is a side out or do or die, something that both teams need most. And if you cannot make it to NSAMBYA Sports Arena, please keep tuned in, as the match will be brought live to you wherever you are. Thank you.